Shit'll get straight cold. Shit, it's just business, we pull up and take souls. Gorillas in 8 mode. LA County will teach you that predator play mode.
Really from up in the house, really thumpers in the couch, really say what I'm about. Ay, off the block I made a whole onion. Heavy hustle got the name buzzing in the kitchen, whipping trying to gain something. Fucking threw it to my lame cousin. Bitch, you know I got a chain coming. Nigga know I got a chain coming. Pussy talking, know he got a fade coming. Pull up on me with the same thuggin'. I run it up with my bitch, she gon' get crackin' with me and don't say nothing. I can't be wasting my time, I'ma do it for if it don't make nothing. Gotta keep my phone on my hip, cause I chase a bag, I know they won't take from me. What? I know they
Shit'll get straight cold. Shit, it's just business, we pull up and take souls. Gorillas in 8 mode. LA County will teach you that predator play mode.
Rich from up in the house.
Alright guys, so Fulo coming to you with another video. Shout outs to the whole LDBC. If you like the video, go ahead and like it. And if you like the other content on the channel, please subscribe to the channel. So I kind of want to do a combo video. I kind of want to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, because what I'm going to talk about kind of transitions into, you know, what the topic at hand, you know, the real meat and potatoes of the video. So, you know, shout outs to Inoue, Monster Inoue, who basically defeated Nonito Donaire in a hard fought fight. And it showed that, you know, Nonito Donaire, he wasn't just going to lie down. You know, it showed that Nonito Donaire did put up a fight. It showed that Nonito Donaire even stunned Inoue in the fight. You know what I mean? And it also showed that, you know, what Inoue was made of, because, you know, in most of his fights, we know him to run through guys. We know him to, like, just basically bulldoze dudes. But that wasn't the case. Many people thought it would be the case, but in fact, it wasn't. He was able to, Nonito Donaire was able to hold it down a little bit. So, you know, if he were to, like, you know, he has no reason to hold his head down. You know, in this fight, he can hold his head high because he fought, you know, better than a lot of people expected him to fight. You know, so, you know, Nonito Donaire kind of held it down, you know, and he kind of showed that, you know, there was still some fight in him. You know, Inoue, on the other hand, you know, one thing I will say about him is, you know, I mean, they call it boxing for a reason, you know. So even if you're like a seek and destroy type guy, you're still going to have some boxing ability. You know, you're still going to have a little bit of boxing ability, basically. You know, and, you know, that's just what it is. And so, with that being said, you know, Inoue showed that he can box. You know, he did show some footwork. You know, he did show some kind of like distance management, because we all know that boxing is a game of inches. And, you know, he was able to be successful at that game of inches. So, with that being said, you know, shout outs to him, you know, for the victory. Shout outs for Nonito Donaire, who held it down. And who pretty much, you know, he could have been defeated, you know, in a more brutal fashion, but he was able to, you know, manage and actually hold his own. And so, as I said, I gave him about, like, you know, maybe, you know, you can give him 4, maybe even 5 rounds in that fight, you know. And both men were, you know, it was a war. Both men were in the line of fire. You know, and I would say that this fight was a very entertaining fight, and this is you know, it was very entertaining, and it had every, you know, I mean, shout outs to both warriors for laying it down on the line. You know, often, you know, we overlook the smaller weight classes, you know, a lot of the times, and sometimes we shouldn't overlook it, because that's where a lot of action is. That's where a lot of the action is. in boxing is in these smaller weight classes, because you figure, you know, with less weight, you know, they can let their hands go even more. You know what I mean? They can. Usually, when you look at people in lower weight classes, they usually do throw more punches. You know, that's how it usually works. But anyhow, I want to get to something. Okay, I really want to get to something that happened when Inoue was going to receive his trophy, the Ali trophy, and the belts, because he received I believe it was the IBF belt and the WBA belt, and I also think they had the lineal belt there for him as well. You know, they had that as well. But when they handed him that WBC belt, guess what? He pushed that mess away. He was not for that belt. And guess what? I 110% agree with him. After the news that just came out, shout outs to Main Man for breaking this news, because, you know, I don't search for the WBC via Google or anything like that, and it didn't come up on my phone how the boxing news usually does for some reason. But anyhow, so because the WBC, or let's just say because 4 fighters tested dirty for clenbuterol, and they blamed it on the meat, of course. Oh, it's the meat, right? The WBC has now allowed higher levels of clenbuterol to be sanctioned for fighters, which means if you test for clenbuterol, they'll just sweep you under the rug like, oh, okay, it's just clenbuterol. Okay, no worries. All right? The WBC is now allowing this. And so I don't know if Inoue had wind of it, and that's why he took the belt, he pushed the belt away. Or I don't know if it was because of this franchise nonsense. I don't know which one it was. But now that this is occurring, I am in 110% agreement. Every single fighter ranked in the WBC, every single fighter who is holding a WBC strap should drop it now. You're basically allowing people to, you're basically sanctioning attempted murder with this crap. And you're only doing it because they're Mexican. If they were black, you would hang the black. This is ridiculous. It's an effing disgrace. I remember there was one game where it was FC Barcelona. It was a Champions League game for those you guys who follow soccer. For those of you guys who follow European football, there was a game, okay, and it was to go to the Champions League final. It was so you can reach the final, right? So what happened was FC Barcelona was playing against Chelsea, okay? They were playing against, and everything was on the line. I think Michael Essien scored a screamer. And what happened was that the referees there did not go in favor of Chelsea when there were calls that needed to be made. There were blatant fouls in the penalty box. They weren't given. There were blatant handballs. They weren't given. Okay? The referee basically played the dozens for FC Barcelona. So FC Barcelona got the favors. And so it was only a matter of time before FC Barcelona scored a goal, which got them through to the final. And guess what? Chelsea was deprived of the final, of getting to the final, because the referees basically played in favor of Barcelona. And then what happened was Drogba went on a rant. afterward. He said it's a disgrace. He said it's an effing disgrace. He said that, you know, and I feel the same way about this nonsense going on right now. It's an effing disgrace. Okay, this is a disgrace. As he said, I'm taking it right out of his mouth. It's an effing disgrace. Okay, that you guys are basically sanctioning drug using in the sport of boxing. We already had 2 deaths, or more than 2 deaths. We had like 3 deaths already from boxing, and this is without cheating. Okay, you guys are basically making it now more easier to cheat, but you're not calling it cheating. But let's call it what it is. It's cheating, and I don't know what to say anymore. Mauricio Suleiman, you should be ashamed of yourself. Mauricio Suleiman, I never did mess with you. But if I come to one of these press conferences and I see you, my foot is going to be on your neck. Okay, it really is. And I'm going to ask you, so what makes you think this is right? What makes you think that giving these fighters a pass is right? And what else I'm going to do about this whole situation is that, you know, by you allowing this, you're basically saying that, as I said before, you're basically saying you're okay with attempted murder. Okay? In boxing, in the sport of boxing, you already signed a waiver. You already signed something that says that, you know, if you die in the ring, you know, you're basically, the boxer is not going to get charged who killed you. You signed that. Okay? So with this being said, I'm done with you guys. Okay? I seriously am done with you. And another reason why you're doing it, this is another reason why you're doing and allowing this. Because Canelo never got off the crap. Canelo was always on the crap, okay? He never got off it. That's why he's talking about fighting at cruiserweight right now. Because he's still on the juice. Okay? He never got off it. And as a matter of fact, I wouldn't really be surprised if he tests dirty right now. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if he popped up dirty. You know? So this is why I can't mess with you guys anymore. This is why every active boxer who's ranked in the WBC or who has a WBC regular title needs to just drop that belt. It starts with the franchise. Now it goes on with this foolery. Basically, at this point, the WBC, in my opinion, are a bunch of blood-sucking mobsters that don't belong in the sport of boxing. And fighters would do themselves a favor by dropping WBC and not even worrying about no sanctioning fees. Or this is what I would do. This is what I would do. Okay, you want to keep a WBC belt? Keep the WBC belt, but don't pay those sanctioning fees. Just say, to the hell with your sanctioning fees. You know, you're putting me in the line of fire to lose my life at even higher rate. I'm not paying no sanctioning fees. That's what these boxers should do. And Inoue just set the tone for what needs to happen. He pushed that WBC belt back. He set the tone, follow up and do more and do the same thing. Because this is ridiculous at this point. And I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo does fight at cruiserweight. Because now he's basically been given the green light to cheat. But anyhow, that's all I got for now. Leave your thoughts and leave your comments. Fula signing out. Enjoy. You know, I want to add to the video that I was talking about with the whole WBC and their little shenanigans. You know, there's something I want to ask, like, okay, about the whole thing. How do 4 Mexican fighters get caught eating dirty meat? Okay, and they already know Canelo had trouble with it. Canelo already knew the Mexican soccer team had trouble with dirty meat. So how are they all of a sudden getting caught with the same excuse? Okay, this is how you know it ain't no damn meat. They're cycling off and doing this intentionally. It has nothing to do with meat or anything. It has to do with the fact that they're going down there and doing that crap, okay? That's why they sometimes have their training camps over there, because they're doing that crap. And when it comes to fight night and stuff like that, they're cycling off. And you know, you guys can use WADA all you want to as a defense mechanism. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's not really WADA that... WADA is in compliance with VADA and USADA, okay, with the same trace amounts when it comes to dirty tests. So in essence, it doesn't matter if WADA, what you can call it, co-signs this, because it's not WADA who's doing it, it's the WBC who's allowing it to go down, okay? WADA still runs the same regulations as VADA and USADA. I think it's just that the trace amounts are a little bit different in each of the ones, you know. But this is basically, you know, the double standards of this are amazing. So, you know, when Big Baby Miller got caught on some stuff, yeah, we gotta ban him. When Povetkin got caught on some stuff, oh yeah, we gotta ban him. But when Canelo and other Mexican fighters get caught on some stuff, oh, you guys can juice to the gills. Go ahead. Be our guests. And, you know, I'm just going to mention this. I'm not going to say that all black fighters don't need it, because some black fighters have got caught juice. You know, Willie Monroe just got caught. But for the majority of it, we're not going to get, there's not going to be a string of 4 black fighters. There's not going to be a string of 4 Cuban fighters getting caught juice to the gills off some clenbuterol, off the same crap. Okay? At the end of the day, the reason why they're taking it, and a lot of you guys aren't going to like this reason, a lot of you guys aren't going to like it, the reason why they're taking it is because they can't compete with us. Okay? And that's just the bottom line. Historically, who's been running boxing? Who's been running boxing historically? Black fighters. Who's one of the greatest fighters of all time? Muhammad Ali. Okay? Who's one of the fighters who came and inspired other fighters? Kid Gavilan. Who's another smooth, slick black fighter that gave everybody torrid times? Kid Chocolate. Okay, I'm not saying there's not no good Mexican champions. I'm not saying that. But when it comes to this sport, okay, this sport is sometimes a necessity for us. Okay? And at the end of the day, right now, as it stands, I'm not going to lie to you. This is just what it is, okay? We're built different, okay? And that's just the reality. Okay, when you look at, and I'm not saying we're genetically superior. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying our bodies are built differently, okay? Usually, when you look at a black fighter, and you can see this even with sprinting. Why are most of the sprinters from African origin, okay? It's because we're built differently, okay? We're built in a way that our bodies are basically more custom made for sprinting, okay? Like, for example, longer torsos. For example, wider shoulders and things of that nature, okay? It's just that we're built different. The same thing for boxing. We're longer, okay? For the most part. We generate torque in our punches through our waist, you know, and things like that. So we don't need PEDs. We have fast twitch muscles, okay? That's the thing. We have those where we just like, we see everything coming and we dodge it. Look at Mayweather. He did it. Okay? Well, I hope, man, this is why I hope that doesn't happen with this whole thing. I hope we maintain our integrity. I hope us, the black fighters, maintain our integrity in this new rule, and that we just whoop their asses clean as a whistle. That's what I hope happens. I hope that we don't subject our body to Clenbuterol or anything like that, because that stuff, you don't know what that stuff does to your body. Okay, that stuff does things to your body. Sure, it may give you some short-term effects and stuff like that and benefit you, but the long-term ain't cool. Okay, and I hope to God we just take heed and use our natural talent and hard work to just show them what time it is. Because I'm going to be honest, and this isn't going to be a popular opinion, but this rule that they did was catered and tailor-made for Mexican fighters, because only Mexican fighters got caught with Clenbuterol. And that's just what it is, point blank, period. If you don't like it, I apologize. If I offend you, it is what it is. You just got to deal with it, you know? The WBC ain't looking too good. I'm just going to say that. WBC ain't looking too good. It really ain't. Now, at first it used to be a prestigious belt, but the way Mauricio Suleiman moving, all fighters who have a WBC strap and all fighters who are in contingent in the rankings, man, just drop out. That's all I gotta say. You know. I said it before, I'll say it again. You're already trying to take a guy's head off in boxing in general. You're in the hurt business. Basically, you're trying to murder a guy now. By you're basically sanctioning attempted murder. In other words. It's a disgrace. I'll say it again. I said it before, I'll say it again. It's a disgrace. But anyhow, that's all I got. Full signing out. Inshallah.